I want to talk, so this could be a long one. I think it might be a long one. I want to talk about what people call curses or hexes, or, you know, for many different people, it's different terms. Bad intentions and, you know, psychic attacks caused by trauma. And I want to talk about how to break these and how to kind of protect yourself from these and, you know, just void them out entirely. And the best way that I know how, and it takes a very strong person to do this. So if you're listening, then you are a very strong person and you're ready to hear this. But the way that I found what works best for me, miracles have happened to me. High priestess at the bottom. Okay. Just, you know, I know what I'm talking about. What works is to send unconditional love. And I know that it sounds kind of icky, but you are ready to hear this, and it has to feel real. I'm saying it has to feel real. We have Ace of Pentacles coming out. It has to feel real, and it takes, like I said, a very strong person, depending on the curse, depending on the generational trauma. I speak to a lot of people with like generational ancestral trauma. They've gone no contact with their family, you know, or low contact, and, you know, you're more empathetic or scapegoated for telling the truth. Maybe you identify with being autistic or ADHD, so, you know, you generally may have felt like been programmed to think that something is wrong with you, and that you can't make it in this world in the way you want to make it in the world, and you have to adhere to a system that doesn't align with your values and commit yourself to like a soul-sucking endeavor just to survive. That's a lot. Okay. That's who I'm talking to. And you're very strong and you're ready to hear this right now. And I'm not going to minimize your pain, okay? Because that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not going to say you should just like them or send them well wishes or whatever, because you have to go through the shadow work, okay? And like I said, that's why you're here listening to this video. But so maybe you're even victims of domestic violence like recently. The curse is that they want you to think that you can't survive in this world without hurting yourself or non-consensually devoting yourself to them. And it's a very sadistic line of thought. Stars coming out after Ace of Pentacles. Because you're very bright, okay? You're a very bright light to them, and it's like moths to a flame, and it's meant to scare you. And there's a lot of access points that these kind of people can get in through, such as like, it's like they know your trauma. Some of them don't actually know what they're doing when they do it, but it's like they kind of smell something on you that they can get in through, if that makes sense. It's kind of a lock and key situation. But a lot of them are, if not most of them, or if not all of them, are aware that they're doing something wrong. Okay, it's like they don't know. They have to convince themselves that they aren't doing something wrong, so that they don't have to deal with the shame of like wanting to do something wrong, like making that choice consistently, not willing to face the shame and make corrective action. Okay, so that's how they get in. They're shame driven, and you're not. Right? You're not in the same way. You have a different perspective on it. You're just not on that same train track anymore. That's what I heard. Okay. And like I said before, the way to neutralize this sort of curse is to send it back unconditional love, because it wants you to fight. It wants you to get down in the mud with it. I said this in readings before. Don't wrestle with pigs in the mud, because you're just going to get dirty and the pig likes it. So if you feel these like haunting feelings come up, you feel yourself start to project doom and gloom into the terror of your and terror into your future, that's a sign that like that curse has been activated in you, sort of, and whatever you want to call it. It just means that you've been abused really deeply and your psyche has been under attack. You know, that's not woo-woo or nonsense. I don't even like to say woo-woo. I think that's kind of derogatory, but it's real, okay? So tell me more about unconditional love. Unconditional love, Three of Pentacles. So it's like you want, it wants you to fight back, right? And you have done a fair amount of fighting just to survive it, if that makes sense. And let me sit with this for just a minute. So you can't skip the shadow part where you want to fight, or it seems like take revenge, but they only want you to think that you're taking revenge so that they'll keep getting you down on their playing field, if that makes sense. Because the truth is, it isn't revenge, it's just you rebalancing the scales. It's just you taking your power back and them giving them accountability and in turn unconditional love. This is what I'm saying, unconditional love. I don't mean like, oh, I love you and I don't feel the hurt anymore or whatever. Like, that's not what I'm trying to say. It's unconditional love is truly just accepting that they are who they are and not trying to change them, and totally taking the power back for yourself, relying on yourself and your whatever your spiritual practice is, whatever you want to call it, God, the universe, spirit. And this kind of unconditional love with you not fighting back and you saying like, you know what, you're on your journey too. It like burns their skin. It's like they're allergic to it. So don't, sit there and think that by sending them unconditional love is like a release for them. If not really, you're releasing them, but it doesn't feel good to them. I feel like you need to know that. Yeah, and they are who they are, and you are who you are. And I've said this recently, that you are here to learn how to assert boundaries and how to take your power back and manifest your dream life for this lifetime. And they are here apparently to learn accountability. So think of it like that. And then, just release. I'm not going to try to fight you on this. That they don't know how to connect or bond, right? They have to dominate whoever these people are. Could be family, could be people in the workplace. Really, it's all just like emotional avatars. They're all playing kind of the same character in your life. But it could be people close to you or in your outer circles. But I'm feeling like it's people close to you. Like I said, a generational thing. So they don't know how to dominate. What I'm seeing is like, well, you know how you're in a crowd of people and then you accidentally step on someone's toe and they got hurt, right? But you say, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. And then they don't blame you. They're like, oh yeah, it's crowded. That sucks. It's okay. It's okay. You both instantly give. That's just your natural state. You're like that kind of person. But then there are takers. And yeah, they don't have it's like, I'm not a neuroscience person. I mean, I like neuroscience, but I'm not a neuroscientist, so maybe somebody with more knowledge can weigh in here. But I've read things that say that the brain isn't the same in everybody, obviously not, but that the physical parts of the brain that produce empathy or whatever, allow empathy to happen, or whatever the word is, that there are people who don't have these parts of the brain fully developed, or they're severely diminished, or sometimes they're just like completely offline. So just hold on. It's like when you give this kind of person like the idea of totally accepting who they are and not trying to change them, like they don't have the genetic disposition to like receive it as that. Okay. And that isn't your journey. That's not your job. They don't benefit from you trying to help them learn to heal. So they assume that when you give them love or acceptance and understanding, they assume that now like that they owe you something. Like they're on the line for something. And that's projection, because that's what they do to other people. The unconditional love is like a foreign concept to them, and it scares them. And, you could say less evolved, or you could say childlike, but any kind of way you describe it, it is like not your responsibility to keep nurturing this person or anything like that. Not like that. Okay, I am going to go into a part 2.